Lieutenant Yar is down. It seems to feed on our phaser energy. We had no effect on it.
Hello. This week I have lots of very interesting facts that I've discovered about Star Trek Next Generation, Season 1 episode, Skin of Evil. Now, in this episode, the Enterprise receives a distress signal from a shuttlecraft returning Deanna Troi from a conference. They find that the shuttle has crashed on a desolate planet where an evil creature lurks. The original plan for the episode was that an away team would beam down to the planet and discover an alcoholic scientist who had gone crazy with a phaser due to other scientists not believing him about his discoveries.
As an alcoholic scientist,
this idea was scrapped when Gene Roddenberry overruled Rick Berman's alcoholic scientist idea and instead changed the character of Amos to that of a strange and deadly alien creature. The script for this episode called for the creature Amos to be made of a black sludgy material like an oozing thick oil or tar. The special effects team got to work on creating the creature for the screen. Some ideas that tried and failed were dropping constant paint from above the set and filming Amos from below the head level, giving him the illusion that oil was constantly oozing, but this method meant that black paint was splattering all over the place. Next, they tried a porous costume whereby they would pump black paint from the inside, but the costume was so thick that no actor alive would be able to stay in it and survive. The last failed attempt was to use actual boiling tar glooped over an actor who was wearing a thick white blanket. The boiling tar would drip off very slowly and looked really good to the team, but would unfortunately cause severe burns to the internal actor. Finally, they draped a black costume over the actor and ladled on heaps of thick glucose with black colouring. Rick Berman preferred the visual of the burning tar, but the rest of the team were unhappy about that and went with the glucose syrup. During production of the episode in 1988, actor Arnold Bell unfortunately died and was survived by his glorious wife Ethel. Paramount didn't so much as put up a press release about the passing of Arnold Bell, and production of the episode continued without incident. Those close to Paramount would probably admit that a small-time actor known for his work in the 50s and 60s and who wasn't known for any Star Trek work at all, probably had no impact on Star Trek on any level. Actor Marina Sirtis had accidentally left a tenograph machine on the set, which was of course hard to see and even harder to find. For 2 weeks it emitted high-pitched beeps and screeches while the crew on set were driven mad by both the sound and their inability to remove the damn machine. One day Marina suddenly remembered leaving the tenograph machine there and picked it up at the end of the day, taking it home, much to the relief of everyone else.
That's your real fear. Never to die. Never again to be united with those who left you here.
During the episode, there was a scene where Geordi LaForge has his visor removed, and he's scrambling around on the floor trying to find it. In reality, Geordi's actor, Lever Burton, could see as well as any other actor. He simply pretends to be blind, an actor showing off his craft in front of the camera, creating the illusion of not seeing, when in actual fact he could see the visor just fine. If he was played by a successful method actor, maybe he would have blinded himself with an onion or something else interesting to really portray the act of being blind for a while. The episode is famously known as Skin of Evil, but before it was known as this, there were several other episode names in contention. The name on the first draft of the script was The Creature from Hell, Other names that were nearly used are The Shroud, Skin of Dread, Planet of the Killer, Dark Creature, Sludge of Hell, Timothy Green, Dark Matrix, Singular Killer, Killer of Evil, and The Catastrophe. The original tar pit used for Armus to live in was actually 15 foot deep and filled with 60,000 litres of black glucose syrup. There was a slow-moving platform and the actor would stand on it, down deep in the pit, which would rise, allowing the actor to rise up to the planet's surface, giving the illusion of a creature coming out of the pit. During production, Patrick Stewart accidentally dropped his wedding ring into the tar pit and demanded that one of the assistants dive into the thick black mixture and retrieve his ring at once. The assistant declined and was warned that he would lose his job if he didn't try to get the ring back. He took off his frock and waded into the pool, hands feeling around for the ring. After slurping around in the black mess for 2 hours, he arose from the pit without the ring and was rewarded for his failure with a swearing tirade. Eventually the ring was discovered 2 days later, once the pit was drained and cleaned. Actress Denise Crosby had become disillusioned with the life of a Star Trekman. She was working long days under hot studio lights and was being recognised more and more by the public. In early 1988, she would demand to be written out of the show unless her name would get top billing in the opening credits. Gene Roddenberry said he was open to discussion, but Rick Berman had had enough of the crazy demands and instructed the writers to get rid of her as soon as possible. According to Berman, she constantly finished off the last of the milk at the catering table without telling anyone, and she didn't thank anyone of the makeup department after she'd had her makeup put on each day. One of her problems was also that she said that the makeup department didn't make her eyes sparkle enough, not in the way that she wanted. The episode was wrote, getting rid of the character of Tasha Yar within the first 20 minutes, and from that point the emphasis of the episode was shifted to Rick Berman's favourite Star Trek girl, Marina Sirtis. Rick Berman would have somebody else in his sights after this. Gates McSomething actress, Beverly Crusher, Berman had been complaining that Crusher would turn up on the set smelling like powdered cheese and that her hair was too fluffy. No amount of hairspray would hold it in place the way that he liked it. Gene Roddenberry, however, was quite the fan of Dr. Crusher. He concluded that even though she had obviously been an awful mother, she was actually an excellent doctor and a valuable member of the Enterprise crew that everyone could depend on. Gene would go on to tell her that even if she was forced out at the end of Series 1, he would do his best to bring her back a year later. Now that Tasha Yar had been written out of the show, what would happen to the role of Chief of Security? There were 3 raunch ideas. First, they could elevate the character of Worf, making him the new security chief. The second idea would be to use a clay Duke. Finally, they would hire a new actor to freshen up the role, a new person to add to the team. The idea of using a different character and the idea of using a clay Duke were thrown to the wayside. The Star Trek team settled on giving the role of security bison to Worf, on the provision that Worf actor Michael Dorn look after his injured jaw just a little better in the future. Not one official review of this episode by the Hollywood press would describe it as being blessed or spiritual. Most reviews would of course zero in on either the end of Tasha Yar or the creature of Armus and its disgusting oily visuals. Not a one of these reviews would give a solitary sentence of magazine space to mention how blessed they think that the episode is. Unfortunately, this lack of information at the time would make us think that the episode wasn't blessed at all, which is of course a crime or a lie. Thanks very much for listening to my interesting facts about Skin of Evil, one of the most classic episodes of Star Trek Next Generation. Series 1. There's only a couple of episodes left to go till we get to the end of Series 1, so thanks for checking out my episodes. Don't forget to subscribe if you can be bothered, and if you don't want to, don't bother. Thanks very much though, and please hang around and check out some more facts next time. All the best, guys. Bye!